Trying to stay out of your way, Annie.
We can do that.
Mine just don't sit down for 3 seconds to stand up.
I pinch her in the corner there.
We're gonna have Jack all by himself over there.
Yeah, that's where Jack needs to be.
Hey, there's a reason, Jack.
I'll leave.
I like my, I want to stay.
No, I mean, I want to move over to my house. What?
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Cloyce Kelly is absent. And how about Councilmember Miller?
I'm here, but maybe it's me that didn't show up.
Oh, okay. We'll keep that under advisement. And Councilmember Turner is also absent. Councilmember Lane?
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Here.
Vice Mayor Best?
Here.
And Mayor Croft?
Here. Okay, let's go to introduction, presentations, and proclamations. Chief, are you ready? This is recognition of officers for meritorious conduct.
Mayor and Council, I apologize, I'm going to read tonight, but we have quite a few awards, and I don't want to bumble any of this, so. The Lieutenant will hand them to you, Mayor, and you can pass them out. We have quite a few awards tonight for several of the officers, so bear with me while I read this, and we're going to have them come up individually and take pictures as we do it. On July 21st of this year, Officer Jeff Pizzi had just started his patrol shift. While leaving the station, Officer Pizzi heard a YCSO deputy request assistance on a traffic stop a few blocks from the station. Officer Pizzi did not know any of the background of the events leading up to the stop, only that a fellow officer was asking for help. Officer Pizzi and Deputy Kennedy stopped the vehicle on Palomino Road, and as soon as Officer Pizzi exited his vehicle, a gunfight ensued. Officer Pizzi utilized his 18 years of training and experience to take up the best tactical position he could and return fire on the suspect. Additionally, Officer Pizzi coordinated and directed additional responding officers as they arrived to take up safe positions and then approach the vehicle to remove the suspect. After reviewing the information available, there is no doubt in my mind Officer Pizzi's actions prevented the situation from escalating and possible serious consequences to himself, Deputy Kennedy, and citizens in the area. He exhibited extreme bravery in the face of danger and remained calm and professional while dealing with this volatile situation. It is my privilege and honor to award Officer Pizzi the highest award of the Chino Valley Police Department, the Medal of Valor. During this same incident on July 21st, a number of officers responded to assist. As they were responding and arriving on scene, each faced unknown danger and extreme stress. Responding to an officer-involved shooting call is the most difficult thing any officer can face during their career. Each acted professionally while performing the duties and assisting in the resolution of the incident. It is my privilege and honor to award the Medal of Meritorious Conduct to the following officers. Officer Tiffany Farmer. Sergeant Josh McIntyre.
Yep, see, we're just gonna stand.
Detective Mark Garcia. Sergeant Randy Chapman. Officer Steve Jones is not with us tonight. He's ill. And Officer Clint Schaefer. Hang in there, I only got a couple more. On August 14th, 2017, Officer Jeff Pizzi responded to a suicide attempt where an individual had cut their wrist. The subject was not in a residence, and dispatch only had a general location from a cell phone ping. Officer Pizzi was able to locate the subject, who was bleeding profusely from a deep cut to their wrist. Officer Pizzi immediately used his training and applied a dressing to the wound to slow the bleeding until the fire department arrived. The subject was airlifted to a Phoenix hospital and survived their injury. Per the medical personnel on the scene, had Officer Pizzi not located the suspect and taken immediate action, they would most likely have not survived. It is my privilege and honor to award Officer Jeff Pizzi the life-saving medal. Last but not least, on October 1st of 2017, Sergeant Mike Pareda responded to a subject who was unconscious and not breathing from a possible drug overdose. Sergeant Pareda arrived on the scene prior to medical personnel, located the subject, and determined they were in fact not breathing and used heroin. Sergeant Pareda utilized his Narcan spray on the subject, which counteracted the drug, reviving the subject. Without Sergeant Pareda's quick response and actions, the subject most likely would have not survived. It's my privilege and honor to award Sergeant Mike Pareda the life-saving medal.
All of them, yeah. I kept on going up and down, so.
Bunny ears.
Good job, guys.
Matt knows how to do these. Matt knows how to edit the film.
Don't get up here. Gotta go back down.
We got one more, Mayor.
Yep.
We'll wait a couple of minutes till this.
So I don't get that free ride after all? No, I'm good, thank you.
You're gonna talk about,
All right, you ready?
the next item is presentation of Mayor's Recognition Award to Sergeant Roger Strader regarding his military service in the U.S. Army and Arizona National Guard. The first person up is going to be his supervisor, Frank Mayberry, and I think he's going to talk about Roger's work.
Just a few sentences to be brief, but as one of my first duties here as Public Works Director, this is a big honor for me. As town employees, we often feel our motivation is one of service. And for many, including even some of our council members, that service often includes a call to serve the country in the armed services. And with recent observation of Veterans Day, I think it's a perfect time that we honor one of our own, one of my guys. He's not only served our town for over 18 years, but he's recently retired from service, beginning with the Army and finishing up in the National Guard. And it's my pretty big pleasure to introduce Roger Strader. Roger, if you could come up behind me. Thank you so much.
I was going to clap later.
How many years? 23 total. 23 total. Mayor's Recognition Award presented to Sergeant Roger Straber, November 14, 2017. The town of Chino Valley is proud to recognize and express our appreciation to Sergeant Roger Strader for his service to our country. Sergeant Strader was dedicated to serving and fighting for our freedom both here and abroad during the Gulf and Afghanistan wars. Sergeant Strader served in the regular Army from 1987 to 1991 and was stationed in Germany with the 1st Armored Division and in Kuwait during the First Gulf War. He joined the Arizona National Guard in 2001 and is still serving in the Guard. During his enlistment with the Guard, Sergeant Strader served in the Afghanistan War zone and has received the following medals and commendations. Number 1, Meritorious Service, Southwest Asia Service, Kuwait Liberation, Iraq Campaign, Global War on Terror, Overseas Service, Cold War, Outstanding Volunteer Service, and Army Service. As you can see, his chest is full of medals. He's one of our heroes. Today we especially want to thank Sergeant Strader for his extraordinary service to our country. His unwavering service during both wartime and peacetime embodied the Army Corps values of honor, courage, and commitment. On behalf of all the citizens of Chino Valley, I, Darrell Croft, Mayor of the town of Chino Valley, Arizona, do hereby recognize by this award our deep gratitude for the dedication and service of Sergeant Roger Strader. We are most grateful.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your service.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate it.
That was a feel-good thing.
Well, now that the good part of this meeting is over, honoring our police officers and our service members, we'll get down to the work part. Thank you all for the family for showing. We appreciate you coming. And we'll then clear the room. Okay, let's get on to item 3, call to the public. Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone that would like to speak during call to the public? Okay, let's go on to response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town official will address matters raised during the call to the public on a previous meeting. We have none. So we'll go on to item 5, which is current events, summaries, and reports. First, this item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report on current events and ask the staff member to provide the same. Presentation on information requested by the mayor and council will be made and questions answered. No action will be taken. Status report by the mayor and council regarding current events.
I'm good, thank you.
This side, go ahead.
This coming Saturday at our equestrian center out at Old Home Manor, they are having a fun benefit for the Phoenix Children's Hospital after 11. If you have time this Saturday, go down over there and watch them. They are putting on activity shows, horse exhibitions. I think it would be very great for us to support them in their efforts.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about Halloween in Memory Park. I don't know how many of you went to Halloween. Again, it was a hell of a success. It's bigger than it has ever been. I know I handed out candy from about 5 to 8:30, and there were a line of people there. And that's what we want. That's the reason our staff works so darn hard, and thank you and your staff for doing it. It works so darn hard so we can make something for our kids and keep them off the street and from being hurt. And it's always fun. I think everybody enjoys it. Thank you, your staff, and tell your staff what a great job they've done.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your participation.
You're welcome. Okay, status report by Town Manager Cecilia Gritman.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. Jamie, you want to throw up my... First off, we're going to brag on Councilmember Mendoza, and I would like to have Mr. Mendoza mention what has happened here, but they've set a new world record in his hobby. And Corey, why don't you point out who you are in that whole...
I am in that inner circle there at about the 3 o'clock position of the inner 5.
You're wearing purple.
And
In the yellow?
what's that?
Are you wearing the yellow?
I have a orange helmet on.
It's purple.
There.
It looks purple.
Does it
from
look
here.
purple? Okay.
Okay.
So, yes, it was the world's largest night formation skydive ever accomplished with 64 people from 16 different countries.
I think the...
Total darkness. It's lit up because the camera guy over the top of us actually turns on the lights in order to yes, to record it and then inspect the video after to make sure it was truly accomplished.
So I don't know if that's really a Guinness World Record. I put that on there, but I don't know if that was fudging.
That is an amazing accomplishment.
record.
The next one he is also doing another amazing accomplishment. He is learning to dance. And why don't you tell about your dance?
I am participating in the Dancing with the Stars.
And it's really nice
for-
of you
for
to
the big-
volunteer for that.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks to Councilmember Miller and that it's an event coming up for the Boys and Girls Club, since Chino Valley is now a official sponsor of their organization. I've been volunteered to do the Dancing with the Stars. So you're going to hear more and more about this as time goes on. The actual event isn't till April, so it gives people like myself time to learn how to dance. And so you're gonna see a lot of fundraiser type events coming up. And again, it's something that's needed in our community. And so given the opportunity, hopefully everyone can participate in one way or the other.
We may even run a contest for a nickname for council person.
Twinkle Toes.
We'll see how
Twinkle
this all
Twinkle
works
toes.
out.
Well, you're a brave man for both of these. especially for dancing with the
Especially
stars.
for the dancing, yes, yes.
Okay.
That's just falling. Anyone can do that. So.
So Jamie, you want to do the next slide? So not only do we have great employees that you saw earlier, and a great council member doing amazing things, we also have a lot of employees who have worked here for a long time. And I'm going to start doing this on a monthly basis and recognizing our employees who have put in a lot of years here for the town. Most notably, I want to look at these that are 10 years and more. So James Clubb over in our roads department, 10 years. Police Chief Chuck Wynn, 15 years. Scott Bruner, Community Services, 18 years. Steve Otis, 21 years. He's in vehicle maintenance. Jamie, our town clerk, for 22 years. And Michelle Cadega, she works in our prosecutor's office, and she's also a victim's advocate for 22 years. So those are great accomplishments. More great employee news. Our code compliance and customer service department put on a community cleanup a couple weekends ago. They filled 24 roll-off bins with over 110 tons of garbage, appliances, et cetera, et cetera. So did a pretty good job over at the community center keeping the cars moving and collecting trash. We also had several employees who helped out that weekend, and it's been a while since we've actually had collaborative efforts between different departments, so I was really happy that they were able to pull all that together. So thank you to them for that. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that we have received the $75,000 that APS had committed to the industrial park, so we did receive that money. And in addition to that, they had come out and we were chatting, and they were going to give a $750 voucher to our community services department for the memory park expansion. So that'll be for trees and plants and things like that.
Right.
And I just want to say that I think APS tries very hard to be a good partner. When we end up hiring our economic development person, they have a whole bunch of tools that they will help commit to, databases and things like that, that they will assist this person in being successful at his or her job. So,
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any? Okay, let's go on to.
Mary.
You swatting flies or what?
I'm just waiting for your recognition. On behalf of my wife and my whole family, I would like to go ahead and thank the whole community for their prayers, who have offered them on our behalf. Last Wednesday, we went to the doctor, and she is cancer-free. And she is my miracle, but also a miracle for a lot of other people. But we also have a new member of the town who has contracted cancer, and he's only 7 months old. His name is Bridger. And if you can offer the same prayers for him that you offered for my wife, we will have our second miracle here in this town. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go on item C. Mr. Trout? Dan Trout, Chief Building Official, is going to give us a status upgrades regarding residence commercial building permits. Hi, how
Evening,
you
Mayor.
doing?
Evening, Council. So we saw you last quarter. We came and delivered the same information. We kind of just shrunk it down into one slide. So what you're seeing is last year compared to this year, first quarter. You see, sorry?
A little closer to Mike.
Sorry, that better?
That's better, thanks.
So you're looking at this year, first quarter, and last year, first quarter, you can see that our total permit revenue is almost doubled against last year. So we're doing good so far. A few less permits, but more money.
Well,
Any questions?
questions? No. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a question, Cole?
No.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, let's go on to item D, status update regarding Road 1 East Extension Project.
Mayor and council, thank you. Just want to update you on our Road 1 East construction. Under the excellent supervision of Richard Straub, our road crews have started working on Road 1 East. That project, just to refresh you, is to complete Road 1 East from 3 South down to Kalinich Road, which is a roundabout on Highway 89. And we'll also be connecting 289 on two other roads besides Kalinich. It'll be General Brownlow Road near Windy Plaza, Gabby's over that way, and also another road which will be 4.5 south. So that project's underway. We're moving dirt with city forces. We should be bringing in some gravel soon and working on some of the low water crossings through that drainage area behind those businesses. And then once the weather warms up, we'll probably bring in a contractor, following all of our procurement rules, of course, to work on bringing in, adding the millings to the road surface and topping it with a chip seal of some sort. So when you see construction down there, that's going underway, and by using city forces, we're saving a good bit of money and getting a good job, I think. So I'm really proud of the guys for that.
Yeah, it's been a project that's been hanging out there for a while, so it really good to have that in progress now. Thanks.
So any questions on that, I guess, before? Okay, you want me to move on to the next item?
Let's go
Yes.
on to status update regarding the Community Development Block Grant CDBG work program.
Okay, and
Frank?
this is sorry.
Did you want me to kind of tee it up for you?
Sure, please.
Mayor and council, for those that aren't familiar with the Community Development Block Grant, the town of Chino Valley receives funds every 4 years for from the Department of Housing. And the last several rounds of funding, we've done work over in the Chino Meadows area. We will be putting together a project to present to you at a later date. Frank's going to go through some of the timeframes with you. But this is money we get every 4 years. Usually we are informed earlier, and we really got about 1 week's notice about the amount of funding and then starting to get the public process started. So it's a little over $300,000, but Frank will fill you in on that.
So yes, so this allocation we're looking at is I think it's around 321,000 and change. As she said, CDBG's it's a HUD grant, federal money, and we're looking. The town will propose a project of an extension of the last CDBG project, which would be paving in the Chino Meadows area. There will be an opportunity with a public hearing that we've scheduled for December 11th at this time for other proposals to come in, and we'll take those in. And in the meantime, we'll be surveying some of the area that we're proposing to make sure it meets all the CDBG requirements. And so that'll be happening in the next month or so. If you get calls with people, why are these guys knocking on my door and asking me questions? It's us. It's official business. We're trying to hand out door hangers and provide sufficient notice to these people to get the information we need, but also assure them we're not scamming them in some way. So we'll be doing that in the next couple weeks. And like I said, the first meeting's on December 11th, and then we'll be coming and holding a second public hearing. It's scheduled for January 23rd in conjunction with a council meeting. And that's when we'll have more details of the project and be asking council for their action on that to decide which project to go forward, whether it's our recommendation or the others.
Okay. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions on any of this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Shan, would you come down? Excuse me. The next item is an award of Governor's Office of Highway Safety for 2 grants for the police department. Will you tell us about those grants, please?
Yes, sir. I think it was in September you guys authorized the chief and the town manager to sign the grants through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. They were sent back. We got them returned from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety awarding the 2 grants. We're currently in the process of making purchases through the grants for the equipment that was included in there. Some stuff for traffic safety at accidents and things of that nature. The one that's hopefully the most beneficial to the community and helps us, serve better will be some electronic speed signs that we can move and utilize at various areas of the town. So they go up on poles and things like that, and they kind of tell you how fast you're going. The benefit to those is they also, through that company, we also get the ability to track traffic. So we can tell the times of the day that cars are speeding, or how many cars are on the road. So if we get complaints from someone that there's cars speeding in their neighborhood, instead of us trying to figure out when the speeding is occurring, we can actually get real-time data to do that and utilize the resources more effectively. So when we get this equipment in, we'll be definitely trying to get it out there and use it for the public to help with some traffic issues. So if people have issues in their neighborhoods or places they think we should utilize these, definitely give us a call at the police department and let us know where the issues are. Then we'll go out there and find the best location to utilize this resource so that we can keep our roads safe is the whole purpose behind this. Have fewer accidents, less people being injured. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Ms. Lewis, we had 2 items, F and G. Are they the same? Okay, we'll go on. Let's go on to consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately.
Nope.
Anyone want to remove anything? Okay. Ms. Lewis, would you read the consent agenda?
You bet. 6A, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 17-841, repealing Town Code Chapter 156, General Plan, and Section 156.01, General Plan adopted by reference to correct a codification error and remove the 2003 General Plan from the Town Code. B, consideration and possible action to accept the October 10, 2017 regular meeting minutes. C, consideration and possible action to accept the October 17, 2017 study session minutes. And D, consideration and possible action to accept the October 24, 2017 regular meeting minutes.
May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda items as read.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go on to 7, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public and no action may be taken in executive session. Let's go on to item A, consideration and possible action to A, hold a public hearing on establishment of a new biting dog retrieval fee, and second part of that is approve resolution number 17114, establishing a new biting dog retrieval fee. Ms. Smiley, are you with us?
I am here, yes.
Do you have any comments about?
I need to open up, yeah.
About the, I wasn't sure if I was talking or if
This is about
Lieutenant Chan was going to talk.
The biting dog.
This fee is, hello?
Go ahead.
Okay, this fee is a new fee that was established by the animal ordinance or the dogs ordinance that you passed, I think October 24th. And basically, it only comes into play if the person, so a dog bites somebody, the person is required, the dog owner or a person in control is required to bring that dog to the police department or to the animal shelter. If the police, if this person refuses and the police or the animal control officer has to go pick up the dog, then this fee will be charged. It's basically, the purpose of it is to provide an incentive for people to bring in their animals. So,
Okay.
that's,
Thank you very much. I'd like to.
you're welcome.
First of all, I'd like to hold a public hearing. Do I have a motion to hold a public hearing?
I make a motion to open a public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. We are in a public hearing. Anybody have any comments about this resolution? Hearing none, I need a motion to close. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one.
Sorry. How was the $25, how was that amount decided on?
Here he comes.
Lieutenant Shan is back again.
So we We didn't find one that was that amount. What we did was we looked at some different retrieval fees on various types of ordinances and things around. And we came across a lot of them were a lot higher for retrieval, but they were involved with things other than dogs. But we felt $25 was a motivation enough. It wasn't excessive in case they were incapable, but it was high enough to hopefully motivate people. If we're unable to get their dog in a dangerous situation, that they would have to do it. And hopefully it would motivate them to do that, to help us get the dog quarantined, which is a requirement under state law. So we looked at some retrieval fees on other types of offenses, and that's where we came up with the $25. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, on the ordinance itself as written, which is not talked about, is a late fee, and it says $8. So is that just an add-on, or?
We actually reduced, currently the late fee is a lot higher, but it's not consistent with other municipalities, so we felt it was to bring it into, you know, kind of some cohesiveness with the other local agencies. We're actually reducing that fee to $8.
That's good. I mean, it just wasn't mentioned when we talked about it. It was all about the biting and retrieval, but when you read the ordinance, it's also in there, so I wanted people to know
Well, this
that.
is just because we're adding it, so there has to be a public hearing for the additional fee.
Right.
To remove a fee, there doesn't have to be a public hearing, or to reduce a fee. So just to be adding something
Okay,
to notify the public.
thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone out in the audience? Motion to close the, thank you. Motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close public hearing.
Second. All in favor, aye? Public hearing is closed. And now I need a motion to approve resolution number 171114.
I make a motion to approve resolution 171114.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Let's go on to item B, consideration of possible action to approve purchase order contracts with Sanderson Ford for the purpose of a 2018 Ford Explorer and a 2018 Ford Transit Connect cargo van, and with RDO Agriculture Equipment Company for a 2018 John Deere Z99 7R mower, both through cooperative purchasing with the state bid list. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Can I ask you to turn to page 45 of your agenda, because that's the chart that I'll go over with really quick with you. Essentially, as you know, during the budget process, that all the departments proposed buying certain pieces of equipment. And so we added all those up and went out and got a line of credit with Zion's Bank, basically so we could lease purchase those pieces of equipment for $825,000. So far, we have bought 8 police cars for a total of $400,000, and the parks and admin and facilities have come with their list of proposed equipment that they're requesting to buy. And as you can see, it's a little bit different than budget. We originally budgeted for 2 mowers, and we're only going to ask for 1 this year. We're looking at an admin vehicle to replace a Durango that we currently have now that goes out of town, and that was really based on the recommendation of our vehicle maintenance department. In fact, they came in and said, you know, if we really need to do something, we need to replace that Durango with a decent vehicle, just because it's expensive to maintain and they're just having issues with it. So we're still going to use the Durango, but not for an out-of-town vehicle for our employees. So this will give us a safer, newer vehicle to do that. And then, of course, the maintenance van at the library, currently we're driving, I think, a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton van back and forth to pick up all the interlibrary books. This will be a smaller transit van, should get better gas mileage, and that bigger van can go to facilities maintenance and replace the Chevy Impala that we have one of our employees working out of the trunk of right now. So it's definitely will go to good use. So with these 3, we'll have about $348,000 left in the lease purchase funding. And I've asked Frank to come up with a list and bring it to you guys probably in January of what the Public Works Department, any equipment that they need or what are we going to request for the next year. It may or not be the same items on this list, though. We want Frank to get his feet on the ground, figure out, look at the needs and make sure that we can justify them before we brought them to council.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Duffy?
No slides?
No slides, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's as close as I get, right there.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You might
Let me
want
say
pictures,
thank you.
Yeah. He said thank you, so that's wonderful. Okay, can we have a motion now?
I make a motion to approve the purchase order contract with Sanders Ford for the purchase of a 2018 Ford Explorer in an amount of $31,589.03 and a 2018 Ford Transit Connect cargo van in the amount of $23,942.27. And also a purchase order contract to RDO Agricultural Equipment Company in the amount of $20,654.13 for a 2018 John Deere Z997R mower.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have no executive session.
Jack's turn.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
You know, staff does a really good job of making us look good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, fellas.
Good night.
Night, Laura.